Telling the story of how we went on a two-man together and lost our virginities on the same day.
While eating Jersey Mike's. Ladies and gentlemen,
Come on.
I'm excited.
So am I.
Y'all know what we got here, man. Today, we are going to tell the story of how we lost our virginity on the same day, also in the same house.
Yeah.
It was your daddy's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, this going to get a little emotional, though.
It's a lot more to the story than y'all think. But first, Jersey Mike's bite.
On two.
1, 2.
All right, telling the story of how we lost our virginity on the same day. Two women, by the way. You motherfucker got to stop this shit.
Just shut the up.
Shut the up. So rewind back many years. Noah and I were virgins. I was 18.
I was 17.
We literally just graduated high school together, and we met the two most beautiful girls in that school. Not gonna lie, everybody did think they were the best looking though.
Yeah. And to double down on that, we felt like the men.
Like a motherfucker. This story started off on the wrong foot and ended on the wrong foot. So we both had terrible experiences losing our virginity.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think that men don't have bad experiences just because we have dick. Trust me, we do.
To make a long story short, I was going to pick up Mike to come with me to basically be a third wheel on my little date that I had.
Motherfucker wanted me to suffer.
I was nervous. But he's actually the one that put me onto this girl and put in a nice little word for your boy.
I did, you know what I'm saying? In her time, she was very beautiful and very nice, and she was my best friend at the time.
Now, me and Mike were best friends, but they also had a very close friendship as well to where they were best friends.
Yeah.
I had picked up Mike and we both went to my house to go get ready. I ended up calling the girl to make sure she was getting ready, and we ended up hearing another girl in the background.
We did.
Really?
Way too many peppers.
And the girl that was actually with her was a girl that I actually admired in class, but she had a boyfriend, so I never, pursued it in any way.
And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what this girl looked like. I didn't know who she was, but he told me that she had a boyfriend, so I was a little confused on why she wanted to come and hang out and make this a double date.
So we ended up going to pick him up. I saw my date coming out, and she looked good.
The next thing you know, the other one came out, and she looked good, boy. I was nervous as hell. I didn't even know how to kiss. I didn't know how to do much of anything when it came to being sexual with a woman. My parents were very strict, so I rarely went to high school games. I rarely went out anywhere. So I didn't really have any time to really be with a woman like that back then sexually.
For me, I had a little bit of experience, with some kisses and shit like that, but
that nigga was a little freak.
But the sex, that was the next level.
So both of the girls got in the car. The one with the boyfriend sat behind me, and the single one sat behind him. So I'm just sitting in the front seat, and he was sitting in the driver's seat. You know, I am a passenger king. And all I'm thinking of is, how am I going to involve myself with someone that has a boyfriend and with my best friend who is pursuing a woman? So we ended up having a silent, awkward drive to the mall. Shit was weird, man. I feel like we was all a little nervous.
Yep. So after being in the mall for a little while, there wasn't much that went on and it's kind of a blur, but we did get a little bit more comfortable hanging out and having a good time. After hanging out for a little while, we had to go and drop them off. So after we had dropped them off and got home, she ended up calling my house phone and ended up having to give a message to Mike from her friend.
Listen, man, I was jumping up for joy, boy. I could hear my balls click like together.
And I was hyped up too because now we could go on a double date.
She had a boyfriend though.
We didn't really give a fuck about that then though.
I'm not gonna lie, I cared a lot. But I was still happy though, you know what I'm saying? So after I calmed down, he finally handed me the house phone. I picked that house phone up and I said, hello? She was like, I think you cute and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I appreciate it. I didn't address the boyfriend situation. I wasn't ready to do that yet. But fast forward past all of that, we ended up hanging again the next day. They invited us over to a fire pit. I wasn't really thinking much about it, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that shit was just some bullshit and she was feeling something in the heat of the moment. I sit down in my chair, she's sitting down in her own chair. Noah in his chair with the girl on his lap making out and shit. They was being all lovey-dovey. He didn't give a damn about how anybody felt about it.
I was ready to get to the next level.
I was not ready to get to the next level. I was scared for my life.
Next thing you know, they start pulling out a truth or dare game, and my date ended up daring Mike to kiss her friend.
I was scared as fuck, y'all. I've never ever made out with anyone. I've done a pet kiss, but I never made out with anybody before.
Mike was shook like a motherfucker, and she was over here calling him a pussy for not doing it.
Yeah, she was. That hurt my feelings, y'all, you know? It made me feel pressured to want to do something that I wasn't ready to do. Next thing you know, we go to the back seat. and we just sitting there making out. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just like focused on the top lip, then switch to the bottom. But apparently I feel like I did a good enough job for her to want to keep pursuing me. That doesn't change the fact that that's something that I did not want to do from being pressured.
They was doing their thing in the back, and we were doing our thing in the front.
In the middle of us all doing all that, the mom did come out, and she said it was time for them to come inside. Now, I feel like the mom did not mind us doing any of that. I'm gonna be real with you, because I know she's seen us. So they went inside, and I'm just sitting there hard as a bitch. I never showed anybody my wee-wee yet. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was walking around with something that wasn't acceptable, let alone average. After they went inside, it was just Noah and I, and my shit went back down to soft. And I was telling him my experience, and he was telling me his.
We ended up going back over to my family's house, and we were over here fangirling, tripping out, jumping up and down, excited as hell about what had happened.
Yeah. Next thing you know, me and her started having private conversations on the phone back then. She was telling me the things that she wanted to do to me sexually. And I was telling her that I'm not ready for that unless we start dating and you leave your boyfriend. Now, she was willing to leave her boyfriend, but she was not willing to have enough patience to understand how I wanted to move, and it wasn't the way that she wanted to move. At that time, when I was that age, I was well aware of all the bad things that can happen if you have sex with the wrong person. I actually wanted to save myself from marriage, but unfortunately, that did not happen.
And then you have my horny ass over here just decided to make it happen. Fast forward with us hanging out a few more different times, me dealing with my girl just, ready to take things to the next step, and then Mike dealing with his date and all of the struggles that came with it. We finally arrived to the day before we lost our virginity.
Whew, boy.
It's getting serious.
Tough.
We were on our way to a date at IHOP. Me and my date was in the front. Mike and his date was in the back. We was up front having a decent little conversation, and Mike and his date were in the back having a not so good conversation. It was a little too easy to hear what was going on in the back, but I kept hearing her pretty much beg him for her to give him head. And he was basically saying, no, he's not ready, multiple times.
I kept on saying, hey, I'm not ready. It honestly bothers me still to this day. We talking about 40 years later. It wasn't because I didn't want to do it, but it was just because I wasn't comfortable, let alone just pulling my pants down. You know what I'm saying? I just wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. Now at this time, I really wasn't tapped into my emotional awareness and maturity like Mike was. So when she was asking this and kept asking, I pretty much looked back at Mike and said, let her do it, bro. What's the problem with her doing it? And it sucks because what I really only thought it was the fact that he was nervous, and it was just a hard thing to do right then and there.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to whip my shit out in front of you.
Yeah.
But no, I was not ready to take that step in life and it end up being the wrong woman. And I'm going to be real. I'm sorry if I sound like a bitch to all the men and to any women that moves like that, but I was not ready for it. And I ended up getting so upset about it that I actually started crying. And she was pretty much begging me, saying, Mike, I'm sorry. I should have stayed patient like you told me to. So we finally ended up getting to IHOP. We all sitting down having a great day. As soon as I ordered the food, she starts telling me, mind you, right after everything that happened, that she wants to have sex and that it's a perfect opportunity to do this in the car while they sit in there and eat. So I finally just bit the bullet and said, F it, let's go do it. So we went to the car and I ended up pulling a condom out of my wallet. And while I'm pulling out that condom, she's already taking off her clothes.
Nah, but when you were in this situation though, did you already knew that you weren't gonna do it or that you were?
I knew that I wasn't gonna do it because I've said a million times that I'm not ready. Yeah, as soon as she ended up taking off her pants, I told her I can't do this.
Yeah.
She got really upset with me and an argument started, and yeah, we ended up going home because of it.
Now fast forward to the next day where we actually lost our virginity.
So Noah pretty much had a free house. His dad was going to work and his mom was at work. Noah was super excited because he was ready to take his pink ass balls out.
Yep.
And I was not excited because I was completely terrified. My intention was not to have any sexual intercourse or anything that involves anything sexual. My plan was actually to go there and have a conversation. And I also knew what I was getting into because for some reason I couldn't remove my feelings away from a girl that I knew wasn't meant for me. So we were all sitting on the couch together and Noah and his girl end up going into the room. Yeah, so now it's just me and this girl. All I'm thinking of is, why the hell would Noah go in that damn room? Because now I got to sit up here and face my biggest issue with this girl, and that is her asking me to do things that I'm not ready to do. I did keep a condom in my wallet just in case I ended up doing something. And the second that they closed that door and went in that room, and she looked me in the face and said,
She pretty much asked to suck his dick. Again.
And finally I said yes. Did I want to? No. Did I do it? Yes. I did give consent. It was 99 degrees outside, all right? My balls were sweating, all right? My dick was hot. All I knew about sex is what I saw in magazines and old cassette tapes. So I finally whipped my shit out. I'm already fully erected, I'm gonna be honest. Apparently it was a lot bigger than what she expected. So that was a good thing for me. And I wasn't comfortable, but that made me excited to know a new fact about myself. I always thought I had a small cock. So she put her mouth on it, and for some reason, I just grabbed her hair and just started doing this. And all I heard was glug, 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 glug. And I'm just sitting there literally not feeling anything. I'm like, why can't I feel anything? No, it's not because I'm gay, you weird motherfucker. The reason why I couldn't feel anything is because I was doing something I genuinely didn't want to do. Right after I made her stop, she was like, let's go to the room. The room that we went to was actually Noah's twin sister's room. Yeah, he told me to go in there.
I did.
And she's been asking for a long ass time. I'm talking about weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm telling her no. So I was like, okay, we're here alone. Last thing I want to do is keep telling her no. We ended up going back there in the room.
And while that was happening with him, I was in my room having my experience. So basically, I am nervous, but I am ready to make it happen because I've been wanting to experience this. Yeah, she did give me top.
Was it any good? Could have been better.
Not like what I expected. The cassette tapes ended up causing me to be desensitized.
I'm telling you, bros, those magazines and those damn tapes.
But anyways, I put on a condom and I was ready to go. You know, apparently this girl had a bunch of experience, but when we were doing it, she ended up stopping me like every couple of minutes right when I was trying to like enjoy myself.
She might have been a virgin.
Maybe, but she didn't express it that way. I was thinking that I was going to have a good ass time and it was going to be really quick, and it ended up turning into a really long process where I didn't really feel much, and it took a long time for me to relieve myself.
Damn.
Yeah. And the only way that I got relieved was through head.
I'm in the other room and the girl asked me to put on a condom. I said, let me go step into the bathroom real quick and put it on. So I went in the bathroom, I put my condom on, I came back in there, and she was already butt ass naked with her legs open. I didn't know where the hole was. I didn't know what to do, but she did guide me to the right place. As soon as I went in there, all I felt was straight warmth. It was the warmest damn thing I've ever felt on my cold meat. As soon as I put it in, she started yelling just like the woman in the cassette tapes. Ah! I'm sitting up here like, what the fuck? I busted. Fuck you mean? I lasted 22 seconds. And I was like, okay, well, that's over. Next thing you know, she leaves the room, his girl leaves the room, and then I come out and meet him. I'm telling him, bro, I ain't barely last nothing.
I was like, shit, I lasted a minute.
I was telling him my experience, he was telling me his experience, and then they was over there gossiping about us. She was pretty much telling his girl that it felt really good, but she wished that it lasted longer.
And apparently the girl that I was with didn't really give that much information.
Next thing you know, about 3 days later, both of them stopped talking to us. They broke our hearts, and they moved on. I was miserable. I was heartbroken, and I was obsessed with her because of it for at least a year or two. All I wanted to do was find a woman that had her face and her body and her aura, or whatever the fuck young kids call it.
And for me, unfortunately, I was always looking for sex and to have an exact opposite experience than that one.
So pretty much we were opposite when it came to that. I was actually getting to know girls on my terms before pulling down my pants. It took a lot for me to do that.
And for me, I was just quick to whip that motherfucker out.
They got what they wanted. We got left with nothing in the end. But it is what it is. We haven't spoke to them since. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not have sex or lose your virginity if you don't feel like you're ready to do it.
And think twice before you do it, even if you are ready. And just because other people around you are doing it doesn't mean that it's okay for you to do.
You fuck around and end up with an STD or somebody pregnant or heartbroken. That's the end of the story, y'all. Leave a comment down below if any of you want us to tell any more story times. Y'all know what it is, man. Fat dick out.
Skinny dick out.
Y'all take it easy now.